And welcome back, everybody, to the 2024 BC Open Snooker Championship. We've got a great match here coming up. Last year's champion Albert Kenny taking on Margot Lisovenko. Margot set to break off. Actually, Albert was just taking a quick little comfort break, actually, before they started. So a little jumped ahead of the game there a bit. But David Burney is in the booth here for this one. We'll be Vin Scullying it, Han Solo, but we appreciate David Putty's help in the last two matches, and we'll be hearing from him again and seeing how his report card is faring for all these players. That's a statement shot there by Margot. Defending champion might be up against it. Just a little unfortunate there. It's a great blue. So I'm going to have to come up with a safety shot here for Margot. We have an active live chat going on the YouTube stream on Snooker Canada's YouTube page. Feel free to tune in. Give us any comments or questions you may have, and let us know where you're tuning in from. We'd love to hear from you. It's a little dangerous there. We're just waiting for Song Chen on the adjacent table to take care of business. Yeah, Albert telling me when he got in, just that he's finding that this table has tight pockets. So who knows, there might be a little home field advantage here. Maybe a local player can knock off last year's champion as they're a bit more used to these Rasson tables. Just newly installed this year at Top 147 Billiards and Snooker Lounge. I think she's okay. There is that long red there by the green pocket, though. Funny I didn't see Albert in here last night. I know he got in yesterday, but it was a rather quiet tournament eve, shall we say. There's a few players in during the day, but not many players are coming in at night. Played that with an element of safe. Crafty little shot there. Definitely have to watch out for yeah, the one thing with these players, these excellent players, it doesn't take them long to adapt to a table, even if these pockets are tight. Yeah, we saw last year, once Albert gets in stride, he's tough to beat. Nice to see as well, we have Frances Cho, the other female in this tournament, in action on table 3. For any results, check out the challenge site. That's www.challenge.com/2024. That's 2024 BC Open Group Stage. It's day 1 of this great championship. Unfortunately, that looks like it might be in a break. He's got a long green into the green pocket. Might be electing for the blue actually into that green pocket. Well, didn't leave anything rather easy for Margot. Margot's got a lot of lists of accomplishments in the game back in Ukraine, where she originally hails from. Glad that her and her mom are now over here in Canada and are active members in the snooker scene. Margot's got to know that just one falter, one misstep here, she might be sitting for a while. That's not her favorite shot. It's left a red on for Albert into the yellow pocket. And come down for Brown. But not to be. I think we're going to be actually fortunate enough for all the fans out there. Might be getting our good friend David Putty to come back into the booth. I think he was just having a nice little lunch or dinner break out there in the Eastern time zone. And when he gets dialed back, can't wait to see what the Professor Putty thinks of young Margot and last year's champion Albert Kenny. Just unfortunate for Albert, he's not on any color.
I think I have all my technology set up. Am I back?
That sounds like the voice of Professor Putty in the house, everybody.
Professor Putty. Well fed and have a drink, and I'm back.
Yes.
So tell me a bit about so Albert Kenny is your past champion.
Correct. He's winning a lot, that's for sure. I got to know Albert back in 2022 at the Alberta Open, where he was victorious over there. And that just started his winning ways as he won last year's BC Open over Max Guan and last year's Alberta Open. And I believe he has won the Central Canadians this year over Brady Golan. Just don't have my stat sheet in there in front of me, but a great tournament run by Darcy Michael in Winnipeg. So he originally comes from Ireland, so you know it's definitely in the blood there that he knows this game. But Margot's no slouch. You saw her potting with confidence, definitely in the early stages.
Did she play in the U.S. Open or anything at that level yet?
Unfortunately not, as she hails from the Ukraine, so there might be always those technical issues. That little line that separates us from our friends to the south.
Okay.
I don't think we should have any lines in snooker. It's global. We should be able to go anywhere. But this is going back to what we are kind of chatting about last match, David, I think, where when Ian Doyle brought up Stephen Davis to play Steve Hendry. Or Stephen Hendry, I said. I don't think anyone calls him Steve, but this is definitely a David versus Goliath match. You know,
Okay.
Albert's such a strong player. Margot's got a good stroke. Not to get her nailed. She's definitely knows her way around the table, but I'm pretty sure the odds makers have her as a long shot, but this will hold her in good stead for sure, just playing someone of this caliber.
Well, she has the opportunity to learn a lot if she's watching and paying attention. She'll see what Albert's doing. Assuming it's going well for him, and she'll see what he's doing and be able to model after that a bit. I like what I see her thinking about now.
And
The
so
shot
does
is the red for shape on the black.
And so does the attendance here at Top 147. There's a lot of people looking in on this match. She almost got two for the price of one there.
So just something with a little less pace, a little more confidence, maybe to have played for the black or the pink, but nicely potted.
Yeah, we're slowly getting a few more juniors, shall we say. I think there is definitely talks about putting on a junior event in the coming weeks. You know, something little and fun just for the youngsters.
What what age are you thinking in terms of the juniors then for that?
Probably 16 and under.
Okay.
Yeah. They're not allowed to vote or drink, but they can play snooker.
Well, yeah. There is the beginnings of a junior movement here in Ontario as well, and it's needed. If it doesn't happen, then there's nothing for the sport.
I completely agree, David. We can't, just bank on the old players that have been around the game or the immigrants coming into our country from China and India, where the game is very strong, and that's where we see a lot of our maybe younger players.
Yes.
But we should foster some young Canadian and American players.
What the sport really needs is and I'm going to forget her first name, but Fernandez in tennis. We need that young, fresh face coming on, taking on the world, and then the sport becomes cool. And when she started winning, you couldn't get a tennis court for recreational play. You couldn't get a tennis court in Toronto. All of a
Hmm.
sudden, everybody wanted to play tennis. And once we have that Canadian young star in snooker, I think you'll see the game. We'll get kids off their electronic devices and onto snooker tables. So, how old would Margot be?
Marco is, I believe, 16, so she's right at the cusp right now.
Nice, great age
So,
to be doing this.
hmm
I was just thinking Albert's about as bald as Luca Bracel. Is there a connection?
well, Ireland and Belgium are in the same continent, but there is a river to cross, or a channel, they like to say.
All
Channel,
right.
maybe? But I don't think Albert has as much ink as our good friend Luca.
Okay. Okay.
Might be the difference if you had him in a police lineup. Yeah, Margot's quite active actually in the leagues that we have out here, the Canadian snooker leagues. A philosophy of kind of playing when you want, where you want. Something that was brought up by Snooker Canada, as they felt, and we all felt that sometimes it's tough for players just to have a designated night. Some people just can't make it with work or family connections and
Yep.
stuff like that. So we found, well, it's a bit onus on the players, sure, but give them all the opportunities, give them emails, phone numbers, WhatsApps, 99 red balloons, and let them set up their matches with their opponents, and then just report to the tournament operator. And it's not a huge amount of money, but it's just getting people playing, and there is a bit of money, obviously, so there is something to shoot for.
Yes.
I'm waiting for
That,
you,
well, is,
Ontario, David Putty. When's the Team Ontario Championship going?
working on it. Okay. Um, there's certainly, I mean, they're getting 50, 60, 70 players for weekend tournaments now. And once we get some younger people playing as well, junior teams, that kind of thing, then it will be something that happens. So baby steps first. Interesting to see Margot shooting with both hands. She's played left-handed and right-handed in the last couple of shots.
You know, I think we're probably going to see that a lot more with the youngsters,
Yes.
just as probably coaches. I know you dabble a little bit coaching, David. You know, with some
Yeah.
players here and there. If you saw a junior player, would it be something that you would talk about or coerce them into it, or
It's
what's
something that I talk with them about. Some of them just want to try it naturally anyway.
okay?
Um, Sometimes when I am doing that, I'll try doing demonstrating left-handed just so I understand the challenges of a new player,
Hmm.
and that's always fun. Um, but yeah, it's something that you want to talk with them basically about everything. You want to expose them to as much as you can, and that's at any age.
Yeah.
Anybody that's get them to try all sorts of things.
Well, I'd love for you to come out here and try and make Reed Unger shoot left-handed.
I don't know that I'd try and make Reed Unger do anything.
Touche. So it's definitely looking like the first frame going for the defending champ. But maybe Marco can just give herself a little pep talk. She was potting quite well early on,
Okay.
and Albert was struggling a bit at the beginning of this match. But with all great players, they adapt to the table so quickly. Beautiful little rub off that brown to be on the
Yeah,
yellow.
very helpful. I do tend to look at players quite technically, and I can see why Albert has success. He has a very established pre-shot routine. He has an interesting little lift of his head just on his final feathering, but it's on every shot, so it doesn't affect too much. Very smooth.
Didn't want the half century. Oh boy, Albert. Oh well, he takes a 1-0 frame advantage, and we'll come back with frame two. there's always first in snooker, and we've got one here. We've got a referee change. I guess that quick potting of Albert Kenny has tired out the veteran referee of Reed Unger. Luckily, Reed's not refereeing Max Guan.
So was Margot excited to be playing Albert? Like, did she see it as a an opportunity or a challenge or?
You know what? I might talk to her after the match, see what goes on, because I didn't get a chance to see her. She had a match just before this one, just with the how the
Okay.
scheduling works out. That sometimes some players are playing back-to-back matches.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure she's aware of Albert's ability, and I think she's a smart snooker player and knows how to use a rest. So I think
Yep.
she would definitely step up to the challenge and see that this is a challenge, and sometimes you got to take it.
So you think she'll power this into the right hand corner, withdraw to break out the pack? No. Think on the blue, nice. Try.
Oh,
And David, you said there were two women playing in this tournament,
correct.
and the other woman is on the table right beside.
Yes, Francis Cho coming from the Seattle area.
Okay.
So should have talked to Francis last night when I saw her after I paid her back the $40 that I owed her from the U.S. Nationals. Maybe just introduce yourself to Margot and let her know about what the great event is down at Ox for the U.S. Open.
I think that last shot by Albert shows pretty clearly when he hits the ball with control and pace, he hits it really well. But like most players, when you try and power the ball, like he did on that one, you lose the technique. And it kind of comes in as body movement or power or something that, oh, she better get to a ball. No.
True, with pace, you just have to be that much more accurate. You can't give the horns any help to accept the ball.
If you compare that pink shot with the black that he played before, that he tried to hit with so much power, there's a whole different quality of his striking.
just wanted to be a bit higher on this red as the pink spot is covered. And in that case, the color ball that goes down goes to the highest point value available. And in this case, it's the black. And now a question for you, David,
Yeah.
as we've been involved in the game for a while. When we had our great friend, Michaela Tabb, she came over to Toronto and Vancouver.
Yes.
She put on a refereeing clinic here, and I think I had about 15 participants, and I think that was the same in Toronto.
Yes.
Now, some of those participants have kind of disappeared. There's a few that are still reffing here and there, but the majority, I thought, would want to be refereeing and get into it. Has that been the same case in the Toronto area, or are those people that took the course with Michaela actively refereeing?
Um, they are not, to my knowledge, they're not refereeing right now. They they were certified by Snooker Canada, and I don't know. I mean, maybe you can answer to me how many Snooker Canada events there are in Toronto, because that would be their opportunity to ref the Snooker Canada events. I know
Yeah.
there's been a few. Um, there was one. I remember seeing Lance there and doing the
Oh,
tech stuff.
the World Cup.
World
Was
Cup,
that?
yes. In fact, I played in that one for Ireland somehow, which the guy I was playing with was Irish. So there you go.
Is your wife Irish?
No, no, no. Um, and that might have been an opportunity for them to do that. Again, I haven't followed the Snooker Canada events as much as I might have if there have been more in Toronto. Um, but that would be the opportunity for them to do so.
Mm-hmm.
But no, there has again, and I spoke about it earlier as well. There just aren't that many opportunities in any tournaments at this point for people to get refereeing experience. It If you're going to treat the referees appropriately, you're going to pay them a little bit, as you mentioned. Whether it's a meal, whether it's a couple of bucks in their pocket or something for their time and travel. Ooh, there's the
Speaking of,
there's the dreaded roll up where you don't get to the ball.
yeah. Speaking of travel, that one just needed a few more rotations
That's
to
right.
Nirvana.
So technically, that would be a free ball based on the angle we have, but obviously there'd be no advantage in making Albert shoot again. So yeah, so the referees aren't getting the opportunity to gain table experience enough at this point. I am a certified referee as well, but I haven't done Snooker Canada events. Just that, again, they haven't come up as being in my radar, I guess.
Sorry, I guess your plane ticket got lost in the mail.
I guess so. Although I did do when Snooker Canada did the shootout, I did referee some of those. That
Yeah,
was a
well,
fun event when we did that.
they're definitely fun, but definitely the referees and scorekeepers have to be on their toes. Can't get distracted
Yes.
too much because one little turn away and you probably missed half the frame. So, what is Professor Putty thinking about these two players? Margot, who's at the table right now.
Well, what I see in Margot is that she's being um, really thoughtful. She's got a routine that she's working to reproduce each time. Um, there would be some technical things that a young 18-year-old player is going to have to work on to develop. But that's, they we laugh about it. I always get asked, what's the quickest way to, or how do I get good really quickly? And the standard answer for that is, yeah, it's quite easy to get good really quickly. Just go out and hit a million balls. And if you go out and you hit a million balls, you'll get good. And how quickly can you hit a million balls? Because this isn't a game that you learn quickly. You learn by putting yourself in a match with Albert Kenny. And Albert's probably playing looser against Margot at this point in time than he would normally play
Mm-hmm.
because he knows he's going to get away with it. But if he was, I don't think he'd be taking some of these shots if he was playing, Charlie Brown. He'd be playing a different kind of game. So this is a good introduction for Margot. As she starts to really develop her game, she gets to a point where she can run 30, 40 points. Albert won't be playing the way he is right now because there'll be more respect for her game at that point in time. But I think if she's being watchful, that laser focus on the table, I think that she'll learn a lot from this. She's got a great approach. She's got a steady pace around the table.
I must say your ears must have been burning because anyone that tuned in last year, that was a fantastic semifinal between Charlie Brown and Albert Kenny.
Oh, okay.
You know, Charlie was oh so close to pushing his way into the final, was up 2-1, and I think he just missed the final red and let Albert back
Mm.
in, and then two more frames to Mr. Kenny, and he was in the final. So we do say
And
a
you and
lot of
I
the
have
time.
watched Charlie play for a good number of years in Toronto and all the major tournaments. And
True, I've seen Charlie Brown play in 3 countries: Canada, America, and Brazil.
sorry, I've never seen him play in England.
He's actually Charlie's good friends with Ken Doherty and Jason Ferguson as they played in the under 21s a few years back, way back in Iceland. A good friend, we wish him all. He's not at this tournament. Tyler Shuka, who's done a lot of great refereeing in the past. He's actually relocated. He now lives in Connecticut with his family as his wife goes to Yale University. But Tyler did a lot of great refereeing for us in past events.
Oh, yeah, I
So,
remember Tyler. Yeah.
so hopefully we can see Tyler again. I know he's got a strong passion for the game. I did ask him what's the scene like in Connecticut. He's like, you got to travel to New York to find a table. So,
Mm.
but when I was in San Jose a couple weekends ago for that Q Tour stop, I was amazed to find out that a room in Sacramento has 10 tables.
In Sacramento.
The capital of California has 10 tables. I wonder if Governor Schwarzenegger put that in.
Well, get out the
So,
rest.
and a foul is called. Kind of a bit surprised that referee wasn't getting a little closer there,
Yep.
but he could see he was at a good point actually where he is off table. He's looking right down the shot. And it's one of our friends from Calgary, Ramin, is taking over duties as I think Reed Unger was running around a little too much for the old boy.
It's funny how one ball sort of underneath your belly there can throw you off. Changes your stance, changes just your awareness of the table.
Yeah, because you probably want to be, you know it's there, but you get into your pre-shot routine and get down on the shot and realize, okay, you can't think about it being there on the shot or you're going to be just too mindful, but it's always so tricky.
Gonna break the blue out here. No. So 32, 39 with 59 left on the table when he makes the block. So I do see a few technical things in Margot's play, that a little adjustment stuff,
Hmm.
but I like her demeanor around the table.
I think hopefully with, the regrowth of the game, as you and I are seeing, David, that more coaches and referees and all that, the people behind the scenes starts to develop
Mm-hmm.
more and more. People can see that it's a worthwhile venture and stuff.
Well, as more people get accreditations and recognition for the background work and things, and there'll be more people and more willingness and all of that. So
So I
step at
think,
a time.
yeah, I think the older guard that was around for the boom in the '80s are starting to realize, well, I'm not winning as many tournaments. Maybe it's time to kind of give back to the sport I love so much, and as you said, hopefully foster some youth to get into the game.
Mm-hmm. Everybody recognizes that the youth is the future for the game. Pool hall owners are all quite willing to have coaches come in and teach in their facilities, teach in their clubs, because they know that 10 years from now they're the clientele.
Hmm.
You get someone at 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 years old starting to play and love the game. By the time they're 22, 23 and coming home from university, they're addicted to the game.
And what's more fun, playing snooker or studying?
Well, playing snooker.
I think that's where's the snappy answer to that stupid question?
That's right. Yeah.
So it was predicted that Albert was probably going to have his way here with Margot, and definitely the scoreline is seeing it. It's pretty sure there'll be handshakes pretty soon.
Nice try on that one.
I think Margot's just taking a look at the score. That might be
So it's
the consent.
55 with 35 on the table. That's a handshake.
So a decent effort for Margot. There's nothing to be ashamed of there. She was playing the defending champion,
Yeah.
but all in all, a decent match to see, and good to see that the the champ is on form, and he's probably going to try to find a jackhammer. He wants to open up these pockets a little bit more, but we're going to step aside,
But
and
even so on that, Dave, it's good to see what's really good to see on this is that number one, there's an 18-year-old junior playing in the tournament. And number two, it's an 18-year-old girl that's playing in the tournament.
mhm.
So that in itself speaks well for what's going on in BC and speaks well for, what, maybe she won't become world champion, but maybe one of her friends will.
Sure.
That down the road, it's going to be who they know that gets involved as well.
And who they inspire. So
Exactly. Yeah. So if when you're talking with her, give her our congratulations for showing up
we'll do,
because that's
we'll
a big
do.
one.
And we
Okay.
will step
And
aside.
I'm back with you at 6 o'clock your time.
That is correct, sir. That will be our last match of the day, but we do have one more before that. It's going to be Vineet Desani against Sean Talbot. That should be going on at 4 p.m. Pacific time. So we'll step aside. Good time to get maybe some
All right.
lunch or a cool drink. And thank you,
I'm
everybody,
going
for
off to
tuning
do
in.
chores.
All right.
So, all right. See you in an hour or whatever, hour and a bit. Yeah, a couple hours. Okay.
All right. We'll all talk to you soon. And remember, 4 p.m. See you then.